Good morning. This is your wake up call.
Happy New Year! Welcome to Early Morning Gamer, PSVG's weekly morning wake-up call. And if I sound more awake than usual, it's because I've been awake for an hour because I had to call school. We delayed school because it's negative 10 degrees before wind chill here in Newark, Ohio. Anyway, this is Seth, and I'm joined this week by Kevin. How's life in New England?
Cold. Not quite as cold as you today, but we are facing some of that stuff tomorrow throughout the entire weekend. So
Yeah.
I feel you there. I, too, have been up for a little bit, and that's because of the kittens as opposed to school, work, or anything like that. But, yeah, I've been up for a little bit now. But, yeah, other than cold, not much going on.
All right. With it being the new year, it is pretty light on the news for the week, but we have a couple of things to talk about this week. Starting with what we've been playing through the holidays. I know you've talked about it last week on Early Morning Gamer and maybe a bit on PSVG as well. What have you been playing most recently?
Resident Evil 7. That's literally been it over the holidays as far as video games. Wrapped it up actually last night. Beat the final boss in the main campaign. I will say I'm glad I waited because I got the insane deal on the gold edition, which includes all the DLC, which I'll be playing next.
Mm-hmm.
There's 5 or 6 DLC packs too, so there's a good amount. Had I played this game earlier though, it would have made my top 5 for the year, hands down. This game is so good. It's exactly what Resident Evil needed to get back to relevancy. Gives you a sense of unnerve the entire time because you never know what's going to happen. There's no point in this game, unlike other Resident Evils, that you are ever safe. Something can always attack you in any place at any time, with the exception of in the save room, which I think there's maybe like 6 throughout the entire game. So you're kind of always at a chance of being attacked, and ammo is not plentiful at all, unlike the last Resident Evil that they did, where it's a little bit more actiony versus survival. Yeah. This gives you the feeling that you're just, you have to debate whether or not I'm going to run or I'm actually going to try and attack because I got 3 bullets left in my chamber and that's all I got left, kind of deal. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of that going on. There are some jump scares. It's so good. It's so good. If you're even remotely interested in horror gaming or anything like that, this is a must play. It looks great. The audio is great. Definitely play with headphones. I said that on PSVG because you hear things that will help you in the game, like creaks in the floorboards. You'll know where enemies are coming. If the family that you're kind of trying to escape from is in another room, you can hear them, or if they're upstairs, you can hear them. So it kind of gives you a clue as to where danger may be if you're wearing headphones. Plus, it adds to the scare factor too, for sure. But yeah, I can't say it enough. If you have not played Resident Evil and you're remotely interested in horror games, play it. It is one of my games of last year then, if I could edit my list.
Great. I haven't played a Resident Evil game since 4 on the Wii. And the last horror game I played maybe half of Until Dawn. And before that, played PT for a little bit and Outlast, the first Outlast. And I think I've figured out, as much as I like horror and scary movies, and Stephen King is one of my favorite authors, I don't know that I can handle horror games anymore. I just don't know that I can do it.
This plays and has a great story like Until Dawn does. However, it gives you more action, which is kind of what Until Dawn was missing a little bit for me, where it was almost like a walking simulator versus an actual game. Right. This is definitely still a game. You still very much have to have combat and stuff like that, but it gives you a probably the best story I've seen in a Resident Evil.
I haven't focused on one game. Actually, over break, I had my Switch with me the whole time, but I barely gamed, just spending time with family. Played a little bit of Brawl Out, which I know we've discussed a lot. I kind of wish I didn't buy it. It's good. It's fine. It's a good game. But the single player can get maddeningly difficult at times, and I've had zero luck finding any matches on multiplayer that didn't lag out. So, whatever. It's a fine game.
There is the patch coming out supposedly soon in January that should address some of the issues. So
Okay.
hopefully that helps. But I'm with you. I kind of regret spending 20 on it.
Yeah.
Where if this was like a 10 or 15, I would have felt a little bit better. It's okay, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's no Smash. No Smash.
Right. So it does get me excited a little bit about Smash. So I don't know. And I'm not great at those type of games. So I've played that a little bit. Jumped into the Breath of the Wild DLC, trying to do the first group of DLC, the Master Trials. I have failed at that a few times. So I'm not sure. I wanted to do the Master Trials first before I went and did the newest, the story DLC, just so I could have the powered up Master Sword. So I'm going to try sticking with that. Other than that, still plugging away at Destiny 2. Play that once a week with a friend and really am enjoying that. Battlefront 2, despite it being on our most disappointments of the year, I did pick it up on sale, and now I'm working through the campaign. It's fine. It's fun. And it looks amazing. I mean, I really think both Battlefront games are among the best looking games on the PlayStation 4. And actually, I've had some fun with it. It's not a terrible game. I picked it up for under $20 when it was on sale, and I had some gift card money. So if you can get it for $20 or less, go for it.
I think I'm still possibly. I know because Donnie doesn't, but Donnie's been all on Nintendo Land. As I was about to say, I think I'm the only person who doesn't have it now.
Really?
That plays on PlayStation. I think because a bunch of you guys all bought it on sale, or Devin unfortunately bought it by not returning it at Redbox and paid way too much for it. But
I got it for about a third the price Devin did.
Yeah. That's not bad.
Other than that, I jumped into Gran Turismo Sport. They added the single player campaign GT League. Which is, I guess, what was in the past games for the most part. So I've jumped into that and had a lot of fun. I will say that it's the kind of career mode in a racing game that I don't generally care for that much, where you just have a group of races where it's 3 or 5 races of 2 to 5 laps to start with. And basically the way to progress is you have to win. I really like an F1 where, depending on your team, your goal isn't necessarily to win. You have different goals. You know, if you start in 18th place, you want to try to get up to 16th, and etc. In GT League, it's basically win or go home. So I'm through the beginner cup. I haven't won all the races, and now I'm doing the second level. And I'm hoping that I unlock the third level, and then there are some endurance races that I guess are pretty long. So it gives me a reason to play it. GT Sport is probably, of all the different racing games I've tried over the last year, second to F1 in terms of how the cars handle. I really like driving the cars in GT Sport. If you could take the driving from GT and put it with the career mode single player stuff of Project Cars, you'd have just about the perfect racing game. But anyway, that's what I have been playing this week. We'll head on to the topics of the week. Start off with a Nintendo Direct that may be coming next week on January 11th. It's been rumored for a while, but Nintendo has said nothing. So hopefully, maybe by this time next week, we'll at least know that it's coming. Anyway, Kevin, you want to talk about some of the rumors that could be discussed if they have this next week?
Yeah, totally. It seems to be all but confirmed at this point. It looks like we're definitely going to be getting it January 11th, but the content, of course, is always Nintendo keeps secret. There are some absolutely ridiculous rumors out there, but there are some that are very, I think, possible. So I'll just run down the ones that I think are more likely to happen, and then we can kind of talk about some of the more ridiculous ones that are out there. So 4chan reported a bunch of them. The ones I think that are possibly realistic: a Star Fox Zero re-release, removing the motion controls to make it optional, as well as Tokyo Mirage Sessions, one of Donnie's favorite, air quotes, favorite games from the Wii U genre, being ported. Wonderful 101 port confirmed. That's been pretty much not completely confirmed, but hinted to for a long time. So I think that's very possible. A trailer for Bayonetta 3 being shown. I think that's very likely considering Nintendo kind of announced it at the Game Awards. I think they could have a trailer in place by now, no problem. Release dates for Yoshi and Kirby rolling up. Kirby in March and Yoshi in May. I think those are definitely likely to happen. This one is kind of twofold. They're claiming that a Xenoblade Chronicles X and a Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze port to come over to the Switch. I think Donkey Kong is very likely. I do not see Xenoblade coming out with another title that close to Xenoblade Chronicles 2. And I don't think it's doing the numbers that Nintendo had hoped for, so I don't necessarily think that a port is warranted at this time, at least. And then some of the fun indie stuff we're seeing, rumored Hotline Miami collection to come over, Mighty Switch Force to come over, and more stuff from No More Heroes, Travis Strikes Again, which I think is likely as well. And one that I think I'm kind of down the line on is South Park games coming to the Switch, package 1 and like Bayonetta 1 and 2 was. I think that would be great for Stick of Truth and Fractured But Whole. And I think that's pretty likely. I don't see why, graphically wise, Nintendo Switch can definitely handle it, and I think it's probably a great game to play on the go. I think the only other thing that I feel kind of strong we could see, Metroid Prime 4 mentioned or shown in some way, shape, or form during the Direct, I think is possible. Not like it's going to come out anytime soon. I don't see that coming out till next year at least, but I think they want to keep that in people's minds. So especially riding off the success of Return of Samus on the 3DS, I think they want to keep that going as well. But that's for the ones I think personally we could see some content for. Before I get to the absolutely ridiculous ones, what about you, Seth? What do you think about these announcements?
So, in addition to the ones you mentioned, I really think that Hearthstone has a shot.
Yeah, that's true.
Remember before, I think it was when the Switch was going to be announced, maybe that January Direct last year, Blizzard had sent out a tweet with an image from a guy from Hearthstone and said it was something like, "We're watching you, Nintendo," or something. I forget what it said, but they've kind of gone back and forth for a little bit on social media. I think they're I think that where there's smoke, there's fire, and Hearthstone is on its way, whether it's announced this month or not. And then another title that stuck out to me, Undertale. I've been looking at that on PS4, but and it's on sale right now. But I have trouble. I usually don't care that much about graphics. One of my favorite games presently is Shovel Knight, which is a gorgeous game, but it's not the most graphically intensive game. But I find it hard for me to go from Gran Turismo Sport and Battlefront on my PlayStation 4 1080p TV, and then to play Undertale on the same one. And it looks, has a cute art aesthetic and whatever, and it's about the story and whatnot. So anyway, I'm hoping for it to come to Switch, because that is my handheld gaming console of choice presently. I'm interested in more Fire Emblem if that's shown. I could also see that being they've already teased it, so I could see that being its own Direct later on.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be its own Direct for sure.
And then the Wonderful 101 port. What kind of game is Wonderful 101?
Kind of like a beat 'em up. So it's like a top-down beat 'em up, and you combine your characters to make like a bigger monster. Kind of, I don't want to say it's similar to Knack, but it's in that same vein where like the more heroes you get, the bigger your hero can be. But yeah, it's definitely like a button masher beat 'em up type game.
Okay, cool. Watched a little bit of trailers, and it sounds like could be a fun pickup if it's a low enough price. And
yeah,
whatever. So
it's definitely worth it. I think, especially on the Switch, I think it'll work well.
Mm-hmm. Some others that they mentioned, I'm surprised. Excuse me, surprised you didn't mention Fallout 4.
Because I don't think that's going to be announced. So yeah, okay. We'll jump into the kind of I think what are more reaching. Luigi's Mansion 3 confirmed. I do want to see another Luigi's Mansion game, and I think it'd be great. It may be confirmed, but I don't see them showing anything. It'd be like Metroid Prime when they first announced that, like, it's just coming. We're working on it. Fallout 4, here's my thing. So Bethesda is doing a great job, and they're getting at least decent reviews for their content on the Switch. But they're so far behind that it's kind of insane. I don't know that Bethesda has the resources to work on all of these ports while still working on content to appease the core gamers that are on Xbox One and PS4. So they've already ported Skyrim to Switch. They're working on Wolfenstein. They have Doom on Switch. If they bring Fallout 4 there too as well, what are they working on the consoles? You know, they have to. People are foaming at the mouth for another Elder Scrolls on the main console. So I mean, Bethesda's big, and they have a lot of, you know, third parties that they work with to keep their own content rolling. But I don't know that they could spend all this time on ports that we haven't really seen super strong numbers on the Switch for. They're doing well, but they're not like, you know, Mario Odyssey or Legend of Zelda numbers. So I don't know if they want to put all of their hats in the ring there. Now, keep in mind, if they put Fallout 4 on the Switch, I'm more than likely probably going to buy it because I would love to play that portable. It'd be great. The other one that I thought was completely insane, mention of Pikmin 4. So Pikmin 4 has been talked about for 2 or 3 years now at this point, where Shigeru Miyamoto said the game is pretty much complete at this point, and yet we've seen nothing on it. So it's all but confirmed it's definitely going to be coming to Switch. But this rumor is saying it's going to be a significantly smaller game and going to be eShop only, which I think is insane to be a major miss because Pikmin 4 can do the same numbers, if not better, than like your Kirby type game on the Switch. So I think it'd be a huge miss if they didn't make that a bigger priority. And then the other one I thought was absolutely insane, at least for me, is the Rockstar stuff. Mentioning Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead Redemption, the older games, coming to Switch. Now, I know they did LA Noire, but I don't know if I see these coming. And the thing that we've talked about before, Injustice 2 is another one rumored coming over, and Call of Duty. The biggest thing for me with the Nintendo products is that we know that these developers, we want content on the Switch, we want third parties to support them. And while some older content is good and I want to play it on the Switch, I want them to focus on making their releases as they come out available for the Switch. I don't want to have to wait 6 months to a year to, in the case of Grand Theft Auto, 3 years later to play it on that console. It kind of doesn't make sense. I'd rather have them investing their time and money on making current games for the Switch that they release side by side than waiting and playing these older games down the line. Now, yes, some Switch gamers may have missed out on some of these experiences. Our buddy Jacob Rush from Nintendo Nostalgia is playing Skyrim for the first time on Switch because he only plays Nintendo. So yes, there is that audience, but that's not going to be as big as the audience that could be playing the more recent version as it comes out. And then yourself included, Seth, you may sit down and say, okay, this game is coming out for PS4 and for Switch. Which is more likely that I'm going to play on more time? Is this a game that'd be easier to digest portable than I'll buy it on the Switch? Or is it something I want to see in the big screen and 1080p on my PS4? They need to get to that point. So while I do think we're going to continue to see some ports coming over, the amount that are rumored here kind of alarms me a little bit more than I'd like to see.
Yeah, the Rockstar ports also jumped out to me. I figure at this point I haven't touched GTA 5. I think that I recognize that it's a great game. It's the best-selling game ever and everything, but I just think I'm kind of done with GTA. Red Dead Redemption 2. If a Red Dead Redemption port comes to Switch in the time frame that the sequel is coming out elsewhere, it's a non-starter.
Yep.
It just for someone who has both consoles, if like Jacob, if you've never played Red Dead Redemption and you have the Switch, absolutely play it.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my top 3 favorite games of all time. But it doesn't really do anything for me knowing that the sequel hopefully is coming out in the first half of the year. And even if that came day and date with the Switch, I'm playing that, like you said, on my PlayStation 4 with the best possible graphics and frame rate and whatever. So it's just a game. A Western deserves a big experience, not a little experience.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think we've about covered it. Either way, hopefully, again, by this time next week, we'll know that this thing is actually coming on the 11th. And then if it is on the 11th, you can definitely stay tuned to PSVG. I don't know if someone will be doing some sort of live streaming. Also, it'll be covered on the Nintendo Check.
Yep.
So it's an exciting time. I've been kind of feeling a little bit. I've been playing a number of different games, but I've been feeling kind of unexcited about 2018 gaming right now. I think that's just because it's January and we don't know specifics yet.
Yeah,
so
we have a lot of it's coming in 2018. Yes, no dates, no even quarters in some cases. So I'm with you there too. I will say though, if even half of these rumors come to be on the Nintendo Direct, this will be a massive Nintendo Direct because there's some crazy big time announcements there. So it would be definitely setting Nintendo up for a great year too to follow up that amazing year one they had for Switch.
Well, the problem is it's going to be the half the rumors we don't care about. It's going to be Star Fox Zero re-release, Mario Sports,
Dragon Ball Z fighters.
Excuse me. I will play Yoshi and Kirby.
Yeah, me too.
With the kids, they really. My 4-year-old really likes Yoshi. She likes the one that's on 3DS.
Yep, Woolly World.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's it for the January Direct. Our other topic of the week, we're going to kind of run through kind of quickly here. It is 2018. There are games coming out this year. We're going to run through a few of the games that each of us are excited about. I'm going to start off. We talked about it a little bit. Red Dead Redemption 2. The first game is, well, actually, it's the second game in the Red Dead series. But the first game, Red Dead Redemption, is one of my favorite games of all time. I love Westerns. And really, that's about all I have to go on. I really don't care. I don't need to know much more other than that it's coming, and I'm excited for it.
Being our Red Dead Redemption expert there, Seth, I believe this is the third one in the series, is it not?
Yep.
Okay. You said second.
Well, I said it's the second Red Dead Redemption, Red Dead Revolver, which I'm not sure that I actually played.
It was a
on
prequel,
PS2, it was the first one.
Oh, that one came out first?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Red Dead Revolver.
Oh.
Came out on PS2, and I forget the specifics. It was developed by somebody else.
Yeah.
And then Rockstar took it over and added a couple Rockstar, like the mini map or, things to make it look a little more Rockstar-ish. But it wasn't a Rockstar game. Where Red Dead Redemption was a Rockstar GTA in the Wild West. And it's still, John Marston is one of my favorite characters. I liked a lot about that game, and I'm excited for Red Dead 2. What is first on your list for the coming year?
So, ironically enough, just like you had mentioned, we had just talked about Red Dead a little bit. We talked about this one, and not necessarily my top one, just the first one I put on the list, is the Yoshi for the Switch. On the Wii U and on the 3DS, I bought Yoshi's Woolly World, and I thought they were great games, and it was a great game for my wife and I to play together. So that aspect, I think, probably boosted it up a little bit as far as favor points for me and what my enjoyment of it. But I like the aesthetic, I like the story, and it's fun, lighthearted. You can just kind of jump in and out. So I'm excited to see more of Yoshi since it's coming out this year. But we did see, what seemed to be almost like a final version trailer during E3 last year. So it looked very polished, very done. So I'm eager to see more of what it is and what's going to be there and some of the features. But it looks like a great mashup of Woolly World and Paper Mario almost at this point. So I'm excited for it.
Do you think Yoshi and Kirby will be $60 games?
Yeah, okay. I think so. Especially Yoshi. Kirby might be a little bit cheaper, but yeah, they're still going to price them as full retail. Yoshi's Woolly World was. Okay. And actually, even the Kirby games on 3DS, because I don't think there's been a console Yoshi in a while, console Kirby, in a while. But even Kirby Planet Robobot, which is the last one I played on 3DS, was $34.99. Okay. And that one was worth it. You're right. They're not. Neither one of these characters get the acknowledgement that Mario or Link does. But they still price them full value, and they're still worth it. They're just normally shorter, more lighter experiences, not as in depth. But yeah, Nintendo tries to treat them as first tier characters when realistically they're second tier characters, but they still price it the same way. So yeah, I think so.
Okay. Cool. The next game, and I said our top 3 games. Really, these are just kind of 3 games that I'm looking forward to this year that I think will come out. Um, the next one on both of our lists is the same: Detroit Become Human. Um, I'm excited for it because I loved, and now I can't think of the name of the game on PS3.
Heavy Rain?
Heavy Rain, yeah. I loved Heavy Rain, loved the experience of going through that. It's really one of the first kind of video game stories of that ilk that I had played. I love the idea that no matter what you do, the story progresses. Whether all your characters die or whatever. I love that style of game and how it really is your own story. And then the idea of robots and androids and kind of being more human and lifelike. Why are you looking forward to Detroit?
So Quantum Dreams is Quantum Dreams, right? Quantic Dream, sorry, is a developer that I've actually, one of the few developers I've played every single game they've made.
Okay.
So they
Even
go back
Indigo Prophecy.
Yep, Indigo Prophecy I played. Omicron, the Nomad Soul was probably their first one that was more noticed out there on PC. I played on PC, I didn't play on Dreamcast. Okay. And that was because David Bowie did the entire soundtrack for the game, which was unheard of at the time. But he's always been, the kind of artist that's been off the trail a little bit. But he did the entire soundtrack for the game, and he even played a character in the game. Played Fahrenheit, played Heavy Rain, played Beyond Two Souls. Just love their storytelling and kind of their unique worlds they build are a little bit different than we see. Not so much in Heavy Rain, but in all the other games, the environment, the world they build is a little bit different than what you see in any other game. So, and we know I'm always a sucker for a good story in a game, so I'm pretty confident that Detroit's going to deliver there. And then everything we've seen so far, the game just looks gorgeous as well. So It looks like a really great mashup of visually stunning and hopefully a fantastic story, but all signs point to yes for right now. So that's why I'm excited. If it comes this year, I mean, I know they haven't given a hard date or even a quarter for this one, have they?
No, but they've shown it so much, and I'm really at the point. Whatever the last thing was. Oh, at PSX, I think they did a playable demo or something.
Yeah.
I've turned off of that game. I don't want to know any more about it.
Yeah, I haven't been following any of the story content. I just know vaguely it has to be humans and androids, and that's kind of all I thought. I haven't watched any of the gameplay demos. I've seen the trailers, and that's it. So.
All right. And number 3 on my list, I really don't have a third game yet, just because there are some games that I don't actually think will come this year. But there's this little game called The Occupation. And IGN actually has a playthrough of it, of like 8-minute playthrough. But it's a first-person exploration game, and you are a reporter, and it's 1983. And I forget what country you're kind of embedded in, but you are sneaking around these government offices trying to find evidence as to why this explosion happened a little bit earlier that killed a lot of people. So it's a stealth game. You're sneaking around. It takes place over 4 hours in real time. So it's meant to be done in 1 or 2 sittings, but it's every minute in real time that passes is a minute that passes in the game. And supposedly the decisions you make and how you approach the game impact the world and everything. So it just seems like an interesting idea and follows in the footsteps of the first-person exploration genre, the What Remains of Edith Finch, that kind of, maybe not that kind of story, but that style of gameplay. So that's one that just popped up. I just saw over the last couple of days that I'm really kind of excited for. So your last one on your list is a game that I would love to see come out this year, but I kind of don't think it's going to come in 2018.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So before we jump into that though, The Occupation, I hadn't heard of it at all, but now I'm looking at it and it does look pretty cool. So that's a good one. And Detroit actually was given a release window at the Paris Game Show of spring this year.
Wow. Okay, great. Man, if Red Dead and Detroit come both the first half of the year, wow.
And there's another one coming out in the first half of the year. We'll get to later on my honorable mentions. But the last one on my list, once again, I'm not sure it's coming this year like you, but I think we've seen enough to say that I think it will. And that is SpiderMan on PS4. I mean, they've shown a lot of this game. Looks great. Definitely captures the humor and spirit of SpiderMan, especially after SpiderMan Homecoming. Seems to be very much in that vein. Plus, it looks like we have the addition of Miles Morales, who's another version of Spider-Man. It looks like this will be a lot of fun. So I'm hoping the story seems pretty good. They're using a villain kind of nobody knows. So that'll be interesting to see how they play into that. But Kingpin is there, Spider-Man staple, if you will. But yeah, it looks really, really fun. And I'm always down for another superhero traditional game, not like Injustice. I'm loving Injustice, but I want another experience akin to Arkham Knight was for Batman. I absolutely love that whole entire series. So if this will be a new good installment in the superhero genre, I'm all for it. Plus, it's a PS4 exclusive, so that always makes me happy. But yeah, if it comes out, and I think it's a big if this year, that's definitely on my list. But in my mind, thinking the way Sony kind of leaves, although this is still an exclusive for them, so maybe not, but they kind of leave the fourth quarter a little light and let third parties go at it. I think if Spider-Man were to drop in the fall, winter, it would be a major heavy hitter for Sony this year.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not, there are many bigger comic fans on PSVG than myself. That's kind of an understatement, but I do like the Spider-Man character, and the game looks awesome. And I loved Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 2, I think.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And just the idea of an open world, I guess that's what it'll be. Open world Spider-Man game on the PS4 is pretty exciting. So, my other game, kind of honorable mention, is Anthem. I know they've announced it for the fall of 2018, but I could easily see it getting pushed based on BioWare's track record with Andromeda and just, general video game track records. But I'm excited for that. Playing Destiny, I really like Destiny, of course, but the combat in Andromeda was awesome, and everything else just was not. If Anthem is the combat from Mass Effect Andromeda plus, more social stuff and maybe some better story, or really just Mass Effect wrapped in a Destiny kind of shell. I'm excited for it, but I kind of don't expect it to come this year.
I don't either. The fact they announced it and they said beta's coming too, and they're quoting fall already. I mean, BioWare's track record, we normally don't see. Well, I think Andromeda was shown a year ahead of time and then was out, but that I don't want them to follow that track record. But if you look at their other games, normally they don't announce something and then a year later it's ready to go. They kind of build that rolling hype for a while. And I kind of want them to spend more time on this. Now, I know this team's been working behind the scenes on it while Mass Effect Andromeda was in development, so I suppose it is possible. But yeah, if it does, it's definitely going to be a fall, winter release, I think, for sure. But yeah, I'm kind of hesitant to think it's going to roll out this year as well, but it's definitely one to watch. So I guess I'll go too. The other one, go ahead.
No, yeah, you go on ahead.
The other one I was going to bring up that is coming out this spring that is a heavy hitter for Sony, God of War. That'll be out in spring as well. So we have some a big spring lined up for Sony at least. Whereas that one, I think it's going to be a good game. I'm definitely going to play it. Am I foaming at the mouth to get my hands on it? No, but it's one of note that I'm going to be paying attention to. And I think a lot of people in the industry will be. Yeah. My last one is here more for humor than anything else because they're still saying it's coming out in 2018 as of right now. Is Kingdom Hearts 3, which I've been waiting, 10, 12, 13 years for at this point, for the proper actual sequel to Kingdom Hearts and not these weird fractions or remasters or, 3.8 releases and stuff like that, 2.8 releases. So just anxious to get back into the story, play as Sora again, which you haven't played as him in a new game technically since the first game. And despite him being the main character, you never really played him in 2 at all. I really hope it is coming out. I've absolutely been a huge fan of this franchise, even playing through some of the other ones, including the ones on like 3DS and stuff like that, and even Game Boy Advance. If you want to go back that far, that's how long we've been waiting for a proper sequel. I really hope this comes out. We've seen more and more, but I mean, you go back a couple years ago, we saw almost a full level, and then yet the game still hasn't come out. So I think this is a case of one of the instances where we see, oh no, it looks like the game's done, and it's nowhere near being done. So we shall see. I'm hoping, because for me that's a definite day one must play. I'll drop whatever I'm playing, I think, for the most part, to play if it comes out, but I'm not holding my breath.
I've been I've never played a Final Fantasy game aside from Final Fantasy 14. I played like the demo of it, and I've never played a Kingdom Hearts game. But I like Disney, and I have kids who I think would, especially my oldest, would like kind of watching me play through those. So I've been eyeing the Kingdom Hearts 1.5, 2.5 thing. It's on sale right now, I think, for $25.
Oh, really?
I just have so many other things already on my console that I want to play. I want to finish the Battlefront. I bought the BioShock collection on sale. The Deus Ex PS4 game just came out on PS Plus that I'm looking forward to. I haven't played Metal Gear Solid 5 yet.
Me either. And I haven't too.
I just it's hard to spend any money on a game like that when I have a bunch of other stuff. So but I will be. I'm excited for the people who are excited about Kingdom Hearts 3 and hope that it's a great game. Anyway, I think that'll about wrap it up for this morning's Early Morning Gamer. What do we have to plug for this week?
Not a whole heck of a lot, but Jacob Rush from Nintendo Nostalgia, our friend, will be finally getting his clawing his way into the Nintendo Shack this week, which the boys will be recording that tomorrow, I believe, if all goes okay with Donnie's work schedule, which has been a little iffy lately. And I think the other thing is I'm pretty confident we'll be able to nail down a recording of the next episode of Arcadia Academia at some point next week to do the Earthbound episode that I unfortunately had to miss out on before, but it looks like we'll be covering that, where I will probably fight Tyler and Caro tooth and nail in this game, but you'll probably learn a few fun facts you may not have known about the development and story behind that game.
Okay, great. With that, we are finished for the week. Thank you to everyone for listening to this episode of Early Morning Gamer. We'll be back next week with Justin and myself. For this week, we are signing off. Have a great day. Go forth and play some video games.
This has been a production of the Play Some Video Games Podcast Network. To find more great content, check out playsomevideogames.com. Never stop gaming.